Hello, welcome to our March off-market newsletter update. I am Sam Scharich, buy-side director at Calder. In March, we surfaced 175 new off-market leads, which was an almost 38% increase from February. That led to 112 buyer calls or meetings, a 27% increase from the prior month, but also 21 offers submitted or signed, which was actually a decrease, 16% decrease from last month, which reflects longer diligence cycles and a little more selectivity and conservatism in making offers from our buyers. I would attribute a lot of that to some concern about tariffs and other economic turbulence we're going through right now. But overall, outreach and engagement trending up for the year. People are coming alive, especially as the temperatures rise. We start to see activity tickle upward, and so far, lots of good activity in the month. This month, I'd love to highlight one of the buyers we're working with for the first time here. We haven't done this before, but I wanted to highlight we're working with a well-capitalized strategic buyer that's focused on acquiring home service businesses across the United States. So what are they looking for? They're looking for residential focused services, HVAC, plumbing, pest control, lawn care, and the like, doing at least $750K, ideally up to a couple million in EBITDA, ideally with a strong local recurring customer base. And in general, this buyer loves to have owners stick around for a consulting period or even potentially retain a little bit of equity for a chance at a second bite of an apple down the road. And how have we positioned this buyer so that sellers really are eager to talk to them and excited about doing a deal with them? Well, we've highlighted how they are experienced operators and touch on their past transaction experience as well as operating experience. It's not just about the deals they've done, but then how that's resulted for those sellers as well. So actually, in circumstances, we've had them speak with past sellers that have worked with the buyer. We've also emphasized their ability to be flexible on deal terms and timelines and structures, obviously within reason, but letting them know that we can adapt and be somewhat flexible to the seller's needs. And then obviously, as all sellers care about, maintaining good culture, taking care of employees and customers. That's something that highlighted again. Oftentimes it works very well to have past sellers be representatives for the buyer and speak as kind of a case study or reference, if you will, to give sellers a lot of confidence that this is an experienced and buyer they should take very seriously. So just wanted to highlight the strategic home services acquired briefly there. On another topic, I'm constantly being asked, what do you currently have under LOI, under letter of intent with buyers you're working with? Well, glad you asked. Let me tell you, a couple of the businesses that we've got under LOI currently and are heading toward a closing with include a $2 million EBITDA industrial coating equipment manufacturer, a $1 million EBITDA custom metal fabrication business, a $3 million EBITDA landscape maintenance business, a $500,000 EBITDA dumpster rental business, a $500,000 EBITDA industrial freezer manufacturer, a $2.5 million EBITDA circuit board manufacturer, and a $1 million EBITDA sign manufacturing and installation business. These are businesses scattered around the US, even in Mexico and Canada, and obviously in very different industries. So it doesn't matter what you're looking for or where you're looking for, our team is able to hunt these down and help you reach alignment with a seller on those deals. There are other deals as well, many more in negotiation or getting very, very close to closing. Just wanted to highlight a few of the more prevalent ones today. Not everything is all sunshine and rainbows though. I'd love to cover a brief hurdle that we've experienced recently, something you should be paying attention to on your acquisition search, which is how are the financial statements compiled? Is it on an accrual basis or a cash basis? As that can have a very, very different outcome on the cash flows if you're looking at it from an accrual or a cash basis. And very importantly, what is a lender going to lend off of? Now, it's always good to check with your specific lender to make sure, because it is a case-by-case basis, but most lenders in our experience will underwrite to the tax returns regardless of whether they are on a cash or accrual basis. Definitely want to get tax returns before we're putting out offers. Again, a recent example where that we ran into a hurdle here is we're helping a buyer try to acquire a construction management company, and all of their internal financials were completed on a completed contract basis, so only recognizing revenue expenses once the contract is completed. We underwrote to the internals and then later got the tax returns, which were very different, and started to have issues when we went to get financing. So the tax returns were done on a completion of contract basis, counting milestones in the contracts that have been accomplished, even though the actual contract has not been completed. So after going through conversation with lenders, we shifted to the completion of contract, what was on the tax returns, and we're able to actually reach some alignment with the buyers, with the sellers at that point. But very important to know, and it would have saved us a lot of time if we would have looked up front and known, are we looking at this on an accrual or on a cash basis? Especially in construction businesses, you got to factor in cash flow, you got to factor in work in process. It's very important to know. In a lot of businesses, is it cash or accrual financials I'm looking at? So keep that in mind going forward. Do you want to see off-market deal flow or have us look into a search for you? We source and screen thousands and thousands of companies for our buyers every single month that are looking to acquire off-market deals. 90% plus of our deals that we help buyers consummate are truly off-market with no other buyers at the table, oftentimes with no seller representation at all. So we're able to help people get into unique businesses before they get to market and enter into a bidding war. Please reach out to me, Sam at caldergr.com, if you'd like to discuss us helping you with your search. Thanks so much. That'll do it for our March update. We'll catch you next month.